Hello Dr. Boy and my classmate, I'm Trading. Today my teammate and I would like to talk about our study research. The topic of the study is the impact of information communication technology on economic goals. Chapter 1 Introduction. Information and communication technology are used for economic, social, interpersonal communication and interaction. The importance of ICT to economic development is so great that it is described by many as the fourth industrial revolution. A relationship between economic growth and ICT used the internet as to measure the number of internet users, broadband internet subscribers, and the number of mobile subscriptions per 100 inhabitants. The effect of ICT in form of economic growth will increase in high-income groups, which are the latter than other groups. 1.1 Background of study. Figure 1 shows the gross domestic product growth in Malaysia from 1999 to 2018. They have a negative economic growth, which is negative 0.5 in 2001, increased 5.39% to 6.18% in 2002 to 2007. Have a negative value, negative 1.7 in 2009. Figure 2 shows the internet users in Malaysia from 1999 to 2018, increases 12% to 65% from 1999 to 2012, decrease in 2013, increase at 71.1% to 81.2% from 2015 to 2018. Figure 3 shows the labor force in Malaysia from 1999 to 2018, decreases 64% to 62% from 1999 to 2008, increases 62% to 68% from 2010 to 2018 due to the income of ICT industry increases. Figure 4 shows the gross fixed capital formation in Malaysia from 1999 to 2018. In 2000 to 2004, decreased 25% to 21%, increased 22% to 26% from 2011 to 2014. 1.2 Discussion and revenue issue. As a developing country, the goal is to increase the industry's productivity so the economy can experience in the development of the better country. Nation government is aware in the technological system and invests money into two aspects. The first one is provide cheaper and quality and improve communication to communities, reduce the inequality in terms of education, training, and improvement. The main independent variable in this study is information communication technology. The regression model included between ICT and economic goals. 1.3 Purpose Statement. Total factor productivity show model suggests that the Malaysian economy higher productivity from 1980 to 1990. The improvement TFP is reflecting the spillover effect of technological advances, particularly in areas relating to ICT. In this study, GDP growth is fine in decreasing rate, even though the internet users in Malaysia are increases. This is because of the existence of other influence factors that effect of ICT on GDP growth. There are two reasons case economic growth slow down. First reason is cancelling a too large infrastructure project. The second reason is slow down the export trend and public investment. 1.4 is a research objective. The general objectives are investigate the impact of information and communication technology on economic growth in Malaysia. There are three specific objectives: to determine the relationship between the information and communication technology and economic growth in Malaysia, to figure out the relationship between the labor force and economic growth in Malaysia, to examine the relationship between the gross fixed capital formation and economic growth in Malaysia.
Next, I'm moving on to the significance of study. The Malaysia GDP growth is declining due to the slow economic growth momentum caused by the internet factors. This study helps to get understanding of importance of use of ICT to increase the declining GDP growth in Malaysia. This study is to help the policymakers and the government to effectively manage the amount of the investment in ICT. It helps in the sectors of services, manufacturing, content, and the media subsector, trade, and e-commerce. Moving on to the scope of study, there are three important chapters in the research study. Every chapter can help to improve the quality dissertation research. From chapter 1, the introductory chapter, the study to give the readers an overview of the research, so the study of the background can be briefly discussed. Literature is discussed in chapter 2. The literature is further broken down into three sections. First part is literature related to the specific topic ICT usage in Malaysia. Second part is the study in theoretical framework. For the last part is a conceptual framework that provides the research conceptual framework. For the chapter 3 is to discuss the introduction of methodology and procedures to gather data for this study. So the chapter 2 literature, ICT is to refers to technology that provide telecommunication, access to information and include telephone infrastructure, cellular network and other communication, as well as the devices and facility related with these technologies such as computers, network, hardware and software. As a less developed country, the vision is to enhance the industrial productivity so that the economy can undergo evolution for a better nation. From the literature review, that the Salahuddin and Goh examine the effects of internet usage, financial development and trade openness on economic growth. The result that indicate a long-term relationship between internet usage and economic growth, while there is between in financial development and economic growth. Besides that, the related literature in developed countries, which is Siu and Lam, pointed out that the telecommunication development in a few developed countries is not an important determinant of economic growth, while the developing country that is user-fee pointed out that for developing country, growth in GDP is not an conditional on investment in ICT.
Theoretical framework. This study will investigate changes in the labor productivity of the Malaysian economy by introducing the concept of labor effect and production function. How we need to understand about the labor effect is that root A shows the increase of output from A to C when inputs are only labor and capital. Root B shows the increase of output from B to D when technology is reckoned as one of the inputs and causes labor effect, which reverts the lower growth root to higher. Next, to analyzing the benefit of ICT to economic growth, basic production function with ICT as an explanatory variable is used. In empirical findings, previous findings about ICT and economic growth found are Ramlan's findings with GDP growth as X, development of ICT as Y, and Elsadik's findings with growth of TFP as X, ICT and human capital as Y. Previous findings about gross fixed capital and economic growth found is Debescu's findings with economic growth as Y, gross fixed capital as X. Labor force and economic growth findings found are Rahman and Shahid's findings with GDP and economic growth respectively as X and labor force participation and gross fixed capital formation as Y. Number of internet users and economic growth findings found is McDougall's finding with GDP per capita and overall welfare measured in HDI as X and internet use as Y. Concluding remarks. ICT is being emphasized to enhance productivity and competitiveness of countries. In empirical model, we determine the effect of gross fixed capital formation, labor force, and number of internet users in Malaysia and employed them into production function. ICT is a special type of capital we use. In data description, the dependent variable is GDP growth, which is measured by percentage of GDP growth. In the independent variable, which are number of internet user, labor force, and gross fixed capital formation, are measured by percentage of population, percentage of labor force, and percentage of GDP respectively. In methodology, firstly we use unit root test through ADF or PP test. In both tests, if computed test statistic is larger than its critical value at the significance level, null hypothesis will be rejected. This indicates that the variable has no unit root and is stationary. If all variables are non-stationary, we will proceed to Johansson's co-integration test, which determine the long-run relationship between GDP and the independent variables through likelihood ratio, stress test, or maximum agent value test. If null hypothesis is rejected, the model is co-integrated. If the model is co-integrated, we will move to the next step, vector error correction model, Granger causality test, which identify the type of relationship between the variables and its direction. If null hypothesis is rejected, Y variable does not cause X variable.